for the season. Ben tore a chest muscle, so he tore his pec, and he'll have surgery on that. And he'll be out. And just a little note on Ben Klein, tremendous kid. He hurt that. He tore his pec on the second play of the game, and he played the rest of the game. And at the end, he was taking on a pulling guard. They were running power, and he was doing a nice job. So I just can't say enough about him. And he's a 4.0 student, so just gonna miss him. Allen Robinson, somebody asked me after the game, and I didn't know that. I hadn't got the update right after the game, but he did. He's got a little bit of a shoulder issue, but we expect him to play in the game on Saturday. Other than that, it looks like everybody, you got some bumps and bruises, but you got one case of tonsillitis. But other than that, it seems like everybody's doing okay, so should be expected to play on Saturday.
Okay, I'll start with questions from Rich Garcella. Rich, go ahead.
Thanks, Jeff. So Mike Hall said this morning that he feels like the team's back is against the wall. Do you feel the same way?
Do I feel like the team's back is against the wall? That's Mike's opinion. Obviously, he's entitled to his opinion. I think if I had to say what he means by that is that, we're coming off a loss. And so we need to come out and play well. We've talked about that yesterday a lot. We've had an up and down year. We've obviously haven't always coached the best. We haven't always played the best. But we've done some good things too. We've played in the 4 losses. The 4 teams that we played have a 30-8 record. One team's undefeated. One team has 1 loss. One team has 2 losses. One team has 5 losses. And when we play a schedule like that, we don't have a lot of margin for error, whether it's coaching or playing. And so we've got to do that this week. We've got to come out ready to go and try to play mistake-free football and play as good as we can. And so I think what Mike means there is, hey, we got to regroup and come back ready to go against Purdue.
Bob Flanders in Harrisburg.
Yeah, Bill, I wanted to ask you about the development of 2 of your younger players, Eugene Lewis and Naeem Wharton. Could you evaluate their years thus far, especially Lewis? He had that long touchdown catch, I think, against Syracuse. It looked like he was poised to make a pretty significant impact, and it just doesn't look like it's come together for him again.
Yeah, Gino's practiced hard, and he does. He has a lot of ability. Again, he's only a redshirt freshman, so he's got a lot of time left here. He's got 3 years left here. I think everybody expects redshirt freshmen to jump in and start and play right away. In some cases, it's hard to do that. You have to learn your plays. You have to perform well in practice, and I would expect Gino to play more on Saturday. Gino is a great kid. He practices hard, and he's improved. He certainly has, in my opinion, a really good future here at Penn State. The other one that you asked about was Naeem Wharton. Naeem's played good at times this year, and other times hasn't played so good. He's made plays for us, and other times he's missed plays, just like any young player would do. Again, he's a guy that played against Ohio last year and then was hurt. We were able to get a red shirt on him, so he's a red shirt freshman. So he's a guy that's only going to get better. We think we have a lot of confidence in both those players that they will get better and they'll work hard at it. And again, Naeem will continue to play for us and he'll continue to get better.
Eric LaVarse in Wilkes-Barre.
So, Adam Bradley got a good number of snaps through on Saturday. How far has he come even from the start of the season? How challenging is it for a freshman tight end to come in right in and play the offense?
Right. No, he's definitely improved. I thought he played very well against Minnesota. I really did. I thought he blocked well, and I thought he caught the ball when it was thrown to him. He made some big plays for us in the game. And so, he's a guy that I think, another guy along the lines of the last 2 guys, who's a young player who's got a really bright future here. He's a great kid, practices hard, practices hurt. He's had some ankle issues and foot issues this year, and he's practiced with it and done a nice job. So hopefully he'll keep contributing over the last 3 games here, and we can continue to try to get him the ball and help him in that area too. But I got a lot of confidence that he's only going to get better.
Mark Woodrich in Allentown.
So how is the true freshman, in particular Christian handling this part of the season
where it's November and it's 12 weeks, and you mentioned a lot of guys who are practicing hurt. Particularly for true freshmen who haven't really played at this time of year, how are they handling it? What do you want them to get out of the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, I think that's a good question, Mark. I think that every true freshman definitely hits that wall. Everyone does, and I think that the ones that are able to, so to speak, climb that wall. What does that mean? That means that maybe you come out and you don't have such a great practice, or maybe you don't feel very well, or maybe you had a tough exam schedule that day. Are you able to go out there and focus on football? And I think when you look at some of our guys like Hackenberg, I thought he had one of his best practices yesterday. Here's a guy who's 18 years old who, like I've always said, everything he sees in college football, he's seen for the first time. And I just thought that yesterday in practice, there were things that started to click for him. So let's see what happens today. It's a little bit colder today, and today won't be an easy practice. And so hopefully it continues to click for him. And I would say the same in some regard for all the freshmen. We feel really good about our freshman class, our 2013 class. We had a great developmental scrimmage last night. Some guys really stood out in that scrimmage, and so we feel good about the young players in our program.
Frank Bodani in York.
Hi, Bill. Last year's team won 8 of their final 10 games, seemed to improve as you head through November. How do you view this team in that light with the just overall improvement? Are you satisfied or disappointed? What do you think?
Well, I think again, I don't think you can compare one team to the next. Every team's different. Every year's different. I think this football team has improved in some areas. In other areas, it hasn't improved, and I think a lot of that, we have to do a better job of coaching. I think it comes down to can you coach it better? Can you figure out a different way to do it? I think there's been times where we've showed tremendous improvement. I think our kickoff coverage team has been better and better every week this year. I think that we've run the ball lately pretty well on offense. I think that in the second half of the Minnesota game, defensively, we showed a lot of improvement stopping the run and on third down. So, it's just a little bit up and down. And so we've got to try to smooth it out over the next few weeks here, starting with Purdue, and try to get it to where it's on more of a uphill slant, as far as improvement goes. And not as much up and down.
Joe Giuliano, Philadelphia. Joe, are you on the line?
He is connected.
I'm sorry, Jeff, can you hear me?
Go ahead, Joe.
I'm sorry. Bill, you've said all along that, Christian came in, as an intelligent quarterback, and that's one of the big things you liked about him. What are the primary lessons that you taught him, what you got a chance to coach him, like what he's watching on film or taking command of a huddle, and how has he responded to those lessons that you tried to teach him?
Yeah, we've spent a lot of time together, obviously, since August, and, there's been times when, it's been tough, because we haven't made the plays or maybe made the play call that we wanted to make, and I think there's been other times that have been, really some great times, as far as Michigan and the overtime win over Illinois. I thought he made some really great, great throw there at the end, and that's again, it's an ever-evolving process, and I think one of the things that's great about this kid is he's very resilient, he's smart, he's got a tremendous work ethic, and he's 18 years old. That's not an excuse for anything. It is what it is. It's like, like they say, you are what your record says you are. You're 5-4. That's what your record says you are, that's what you are. But I do think that this guy, over the next 3 weeks, I believe you'll see improvement, and I think you'll see him get better and better here in his years at Penn State.
Mike Gross in Lancaster.
Hi, Bill. One of the things that just about everybody said going into the season was that the linebackers was the one area where you really had to stay healthy. And with this news with Ben Klein, I mean, you've been almost unbelievably unlucky in that area, haven't been healthy. So in that sense, do you feel like the defense has really done a pretty good job considering the physical situations that you've been in?
Oh, I think that injuries are a part of the game, and I think every team out there has to deal with injuries, and that's just the way it goes, especially this time of the year. And give the players a lot of credit for stepping in and trying to fulfill their role. Whether it's Stephen Obang or maybe this week even Brandon Bell, who's going to maybe get some playing time this week if he practices well. So injuries happen. And we're expected to go out there and play well, and that's what we need to do.
Donnie Collins in Scranton.
Hi, Bill. You kind of touched on this earlier with the kickoff return units, but how have you seen them develop this year? How close are those kids, considering so many of them around, and how encouraged are you by the job they've done against some pretty good return games the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, the kickoff team and the kickoff return team, I think, have improved. I think the kickoff team has improved more than the kickoff return team. I think when you look at the kickoff return team, I think we've still got a ways to go there, but I do think it's better. Against Minnesota, we had a bunch of touchbacks, so it wasn't, I think we had one return. So, we just have to continue to work at it. I said from day one, I think Charles London's doing a really good job. He's had a lot to do with the improvement of those two units, and we've got a lot of great kids playing hard on those units, and hopefully one of these times we'll on the return team, hopefully one of these times we'll pop one.
Jim Carlson, Associated Press.
Turnovers continue to be a problem, and how do you address that, not only in practice like some perhaps drills, but the mental aspect behind that as well?
Yeah, no, turnovers have been an issue this year, and last game we fumbled the first play of the game, we fumbled the last play of the game for offense, so that's not very good. And so, we address it, we emphasize it, we find different ways to drill it. Again, there's a fine line between overcoaching it too. I mean, it's just what we tell them. When you're a ball carrier on our team, you're carrying the hopes and dreams of this football team, and that's what you try to relay to the guys. And the guys, they don't need to fumble. It's not like they're it's just something that happened, and we've got to try to correct it, and we've got to stop doing it.
Chris Adamski in Pittsburgh.
Hey, Bill, just wanted to ask about another one of your young players, maybe really young tight end, Jesse James. What's kind of your evaluation of him on film for, the late in production the last couple weeks have been there, but he's doing all the other things that you have with his blocking and kind of his progression here in his second year on campus and everything?
I really enjoy coaching Jesse. I see tremendous potential with Jesse. And, I think as long as Jesse continues to work and sees that potential in himself, he's got a chance to be, his potential is limitless. It's a dangerous word, though. So I think Jesse did some really good things against Minnesota, but I think there's other areas he needs to improve in, and I think he came out yesterday and had one of his best practices. Jesse, again, is another example of a young player. I know he played a lot last year, but, he got here when I got here. He got here when I got here. And, so he's a guy that's only going to get better. Again, he's got, in my opinion, a bright future in football, and, he'll continue to work at it.